Hello and welcome. Welcome to my video. In this video I'll be talking mainly about White Dwarf. If you don't already know, White Dwarf is a Games Workshop magazine. This is the most recent edition. Games Workshop produce it and they now release it once a week. And it's £2.40 or $4, and this video is not going to be really a rant, so to speak, as the price or anything like that. It's just going to be like an overview of how things have changed. They started this new direction about a month ago now. This is the 5th issue, so obviously about a month. And this is the new direction they're taking. Before, they used to release one magazine every month, and that's what most magazine makers kind of do. They publish a magazine once a month at a specific time of the month, and charge you 4 or 5 quid for it, or three to 5 quid. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but that's what most magazine makers do, and it seems to work for them because they've done it for years and years, and they've had tweaks and things with their own magazines, with things that you get with it, the layout, size, content, you name it, adverts and so on, and it works quite well. But Games Workshop have now decided, after I don't know how many years, I think they've always had a monthly magazine. And I was quite pleased a year or two ago, when, I think it was that long ago, when they started releasing their magazines with about 150 pages. And I won't get into price per page and all that rubbish, because I think that's a bit irrelevant, because some pages are obviously worth more than others, and that is specific to that person as well. So there's a couple of factors that you have to take into account. Not everything will appeal to everyone, so you can't really apply a universal price per page framework onto one of these. And also a lot of them are adverts, and again, that's specific to the person, whether it's relevant and whether it feeds their interest. So what they've done is they're now releasing one magazine every week. The old magazine was, just talk about the price, the old magazine was £5.50 a month, and I would wait until the month, well, not wait, but I would anticipate the new magazine coming out. A lot of people even had a subscription to White Dwarf, and they would get theirs through the post automatically and all the rest of it. And it was once a month, you waited for it, and if it wasn't specifically about something that you liked, i.e. 40K or Warhammer or Lord of the Rings, then you could go in the shop, have a quick flick through one that's there, decide whether to buy it or not, and there you go. And if it wasn't something that you were interested in, it opened your eyes to different things, to different Warhammer armies and things like that. And at the end of the day, it is a hobby, and if you're into one part of the hobby, you might get some interest and some ideas from other game systems and things. So that was good. Now, yes, there were adverts in there, but they're really showcasing a lot of their new products. It's a big advert, really, because you've got the pre-orders and things like that, and you found out about lots of different game systems and areas, and they had the battle report, they had some scenery things going on, and they had lots of different kind of areas like paint splatter and things like that. Either way, there was enough to cater for everyone. I think these are all my opinions, just some guy on the internet. Well, anyway, that felt, if I got one of these at the end of the month, I felt, and I picked it up, flick through it, I'd have it for the month, take it on the train, take it on the bus, wherever, and I'd have that for the month, and it sits well on the bookshelf as well. It's quite thick, you can see what issue it is, and you can always go back to it, reference it. But I felt quite full, quite satisfied. You wait a whole month, and then you get something like this with new releases for the next month, and I felt satisfied. Now let's talk about the new one. I've bought 2 of these now, so that's £4.80, so still less than the £5.50. But with each one that I bought, there's no way that I even feel remotely full, or even a little bit feel a gap or anything. I don't feel full after flicking through both of these, or even one of them. I don't get the same feeling as I do with the older White Dwarf. Even though this is specific and it's something that I really like and I'm looking forward to, I just don't get that same kind of feeling. But likewise, on the reverse of that, I don't get the hunger to want to get one of these magazines every single week. There's just not that hunger that builds up with a monthly one. So, why have Games Workshop done this? It's a simple answer. It's money. Of course it's money. It's for no other reason. It's not. They don't have any kind of fan service or anything like that. They're a business and they want to get as much money from you as possible. And it is as simple as that. This is business, and they're there out to make money. Their stories and their products that they make are there to entice you in and to, help get you on that first step to draw you in, and then for you to start spending more money with them. So all of their other stories and products and things are really just them doing their job. It's not anything special, so to speak. They're not going out of their way to give you a good deal or a good, really good product or anything like that, like the Imperial Knight. They're just doing their job, and they're trying to keep you spending money. And newcomers to the hobby will obviously look at a new model, and they might be intrigued and join that way. So, but from the money side of things, that doesn't make sense either, because you can't get a subscription for White Dwarf Weekly. You can't. You could with the old one, but you can't for White Dwarf Weekly. So already you're then dependent on people either going into the store every single week, or the local newsagents, but let's face it, they really want you to go into the store, or using their online store and spending, what is it? Is it over £20 or £30 that you've got to spend to get free postage? I think it was over 20, but I might be wrong. It might be a bit more now. But either way, they want you to either go into a newsagent or go into their store or use their online store every single week to buy one of these. And they really kind of want you to go into their store so that you'll be tempted to buy more things in there, and also you can read through it. But that's twofold. So one, they want more exposure with their customers. They want you to go in and be part of the hobby a bit more and buy more things like any other business. But on the other hand, they don't. And the reason why is because these White Dwarf Weeklies are very, very centric. They're very model specific. There's not really much of anything else in this particular issue other than the Imperial Knight. It's basically the whole issue. There's not really anything if you cater for just Warhammer. So that divides the hobbyists, really, because you look at the front cover and you kind of know what it's going to be about. So if it has some kind of Warhammer model on there, then you probably stay well clear. But they've factored that into the costing of this, because if it's £2.40 and you'll buy one every now and again, they've kind of made, less than half their money, but they've kind of made less than half their money just by selling you that one copy for the full month. Now, if you go the whole hog and buy all of the 4 issues in the month, then obviously that's £9.60, and that's nearly £10. And over a year, that would be over £100 just for a lot of these thin, glossy kind of adverts. Really, I think that they remind me of like a little summary advert. That's what they remind me of. It's just like it's like a product advertisement. It's like, this is the product, this is all about it, now go and buy it. And I think that's what they're aiming for. They're aiming for these kind of things that have the rules in them and they have the, they have they have the gluing one, I think. It's probably in the last issue. But they definitely have you painting one and the transfers, and they give you little tips about them to further draw you in. Now, that would be good, but also you've got some adverts in there as well. And I know it doesn't sound a lot, but they've still got the same kind of layout as the old one, where you'd have something about the model, like so. You'd have like 2 or 3 pages of it. And they're following the same suit, but they're just spreading them over the 4 weeks. And like two pages of adverts doesn't sound a lot, and it wouldn't sound a lot in a 100-page magazine, or even a 150-page magazine. But in a 32-page magazine, 2 pages suddenly starts to become, quite an important percentage, really. But anyway, I didn't mean this as a rant. I just went to show it as an overview of how things have changed from them selling you a magazine weekly as opposed to monthly. By having it weekly, you're getting less money in a way, because people are going to look at the front cover and they're probably not going to buy it if they don't like the front cover, or if they don't think it's specific to them. You're not getting the subscriptions, because that subscription was yearly subscription or monthly subscription, however you want to do it, and that was guaranteed income every year. So you're losing money on that. You're losing money on shipping these, because you're shipping them every single week. And you're also losing money on people not actually buying them anymore, because they've gone to weekly. So I don't know where they've got this. You're selling more, which eventually will give you more money, but there's just so many factors that you can't put in place that go against not making enough money out of them. So I can see why they've done it. They've done it to make more money, but actually, when you raise the points I've just raised, you probably are going to end up making less money. But what do I know? I don't work for a multi-million-pound company or anything like that. I don't own one, so they've got their reasons. But I think it's a real shame, because this. I don't think that this format was broken. I don't. Once a month, buy it, and then it's got a little bit for everyone. It's got all your content, done. Whereas this, I have to actively think about getting the issue. And our lives are busy enough. I'd much prefer getting 1 month, come through the door every month, done, rather than have to actively think about spending £20 or £30 at the Games Workshop store, or going into a store and picking one up every single week. Like, I like the hobby, but not so. I don't have that hunger to buy a little £2.40 magazine every single week. A lot of people will, and a lot of people absolutely go above and beyond their Games Workshop hobby, and that's fine. And that means that you'll be able to get the most out of these little magazines. But personally, I don't buy it whatsoever. I think the format they had was great, didn't need changing, and what they've done is they're now, I would suspect, making less money on these weekly magazines, because before the week's out, you're already releasing another magazine, and it's model specific, especially in this issue's case. And also you've got this Warhammer Visions thing, which a lot of people, from what I've read, don't seem to really like. £7.50 for a small, it's not even a coffee book, it's just a small book with a load of pictures in lots of different languages, that and there aren't really any meaty articles in it that you're now shipping. And for £7.50, well, if you really like the model so much, there's plenty of other places on the internet that you can find them. You don't need to have a book to show you all the models every time. And And with how aggressive Games Workshop are re-releasing models and re-releasing armies and making new armies, I don't think you can really do that to your customers, to your fans, because before that year's out, you've probably already been making or are making newer models, which means those visions are kind of redundant in a way because you've got new models replacing them. They're not redundant for the times, but they will get outdated quite quickly, is my point. And it's quite expensive for one of those a month. But anyway, that was my kind of overview rant. Much prefer the older magazine, the older White Dwarf, and I think a lot of people do. I'm going to leave the comments open. I don't know whether I should, but I'm going to. Please put a comment down there, even though I can't reply to you. If you send me a private message on YouTube, I can reply to that, but please do put your comments below and just share your thoughts on it, the positives and negatives. Maybe there's something that I didn't think about, but I would have obviously been buying these magazines more religiously, but these not so much. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Take care.